Happy Wednesday. It is. If you are watching live with me, you can say hello in the comments. If you're watching replay, you can also say hi whenever you're watching. I would love to connect with you and just see what's up in your world. But today I get to share a little bit about a day in the life of a freelance music teacher. So lots of people ask me, like, what does your day-to-day look like as a self-employed music teacher? Like, how is it different than teaching full-time? Or how is it different than teaching for a public school? And for those of you who are new around here, glad you're here. Welcome. My name is Andrea Orem. I am a freelance or self-employed music teacher. And I actually shifted from teaching public school for 4 or 5 years. And then now for the last couple, have taught freelance. And technically it's part-time, but it pays better than when I taught public school full-time. So I'll take it. But anyway, I thought I would share in a video, since I get asked this a lot, either in Messenger, people message me and be like, what does it actually look like for you day to day? Because I am just having a hard time picturing what I could do with my time if I'm only teaching part-time or all these different things. And that's partly what I actually talked about that yesterday. No, I talked about it on Monday, a couple days ago, about envisioning what you want your day to look like and what you could use for your free time and stuff like that, because that's a hard thing for some of us love to work or workaholic type people, because that's just where I came from, right? I came from a expectation of going constantly, and I don't live that anymore, and I'm really grateful for that. But it took a lot of adjusting to get there from somebody who used to go so much. So a day in the life of me. Let's take Wednesdays right now, for example, because let's face it, every single day of the week is different in my world. And that's partly why I like it, because it's hard to get bored when things aren't the same. And things are usually the same week to week. So if you like some consistency and routine, that's good. I do like routine and consistency because it helps me build structure and helps me figure out when I'm going to do my planning time when things don't change every single week. But Wednesdays, for example, I teach a homeschool music class in the morning. So shortly after my live, I will travel a little bit to go to a local church that hosts that music class. And then I'll come home. I'll hang out for a little bit with my puppy dog. On a rainy day like this, we will not go on a walk, but usually we like to take a little stroll, especially later in the day when it's warming up this time of year. And then I eat lunch, and I have, 5 private students who come to my house on Wednesday afternoons, have a little break in between 2 of them. And then after that, I take the pup for usually another walk, get ready for supper, and we host our family's community group, or our church's community group at our home, usually on Wednesday nights. So my husband, I usually get the house ready for that. I shift the room from being like a setup for private lessons, because I teach private lessons for ukulele, piano, and voice. And right now I have 5 students on Wednesdays, and that's the perfect fit for me right now. But my summer schedule will change a little bit. I purposefully make things a little different in the summer. But that's my Wednesday. So I work 3-ish, I work 3-ish hours on Wednesdays, 3 to 4. I do have some days that I work longer, and that's kind of the beauty of it. I can have a longer day and then a shorter day. Let's take Thursdays, for example. Tomorrow we have off for Easter, the group that I teach with, but I teach for a homeschool group on Thursdays. That meets a little bit farther away from here. And I teach, a class at 10, and I teach another class at 12, and then I teach a class at 2. So total teaching time is about 3 hours on Thursday. I have some gaps in between, which is great. I can get planning done. I do have one or 2 private students at that location as well, but I wouldn't have to. Because let's be real, money-wise, that Thursdays and Fridays are really good. And so I'm able to, if I were to look at the budget and look at how much I actually make on a Thursday, I could pay for a whole week of my former job on just a Thursday right now, which is crazy and amazing. So for 3 hours of teaching, right? So it doesn't have to be a real challenge, right? It doesn't have to look the same. And I love that it doesn't look the same. If you're like, how in the world do you? So, okay, I should also preface that by saying I don't actually use Thursday's money in the budget as a week long. I actually structure it a little differently for budgeting purposes to account for summers. So if you're interested in like, what? I don't really understand what that means. I actually made a little self-employed music teacher budgeting tips sheet. And you can grab that in the description of this video. Actually, I maybe didn't put that in this other video. Let me see if I can share it quick for you. For those of you who maybe can't see that. But it's really useful to think about things a little bit differently when you are teaching for yourself because it's just different, right? And it's really good to be able to, there we go, now everybody has access to that. It's really good to be able to think creatively, think outside the box, and explore. The sky's the limit. Look and envision what it could look like. So that's 2 examples of a day in the life of me. And in the summertime, I do things quite differently. I don't teach very much. I have a couple private students usually that come to the house on 1 day a week because I make my schedule a lot smaller on purpose in the summertime to give myself a break, get some things done that don't get done during the school year, and just to enjoy. We travel some, and it's great. So if you're like, man, how do I find opportunities like that? How do I find private students that are a good fit for me? How do I find the right niche for teaching groups of kids, right? Teaching classes like you're talking about you do on Thursdays. I'm actually going to be starting a challenge called the Find Your Perfect Students Challenge. So that's going to look like how do you answer some of those questions I've just asked, right? And if you're interested in that, that's going to be housed in the new and freelance music teacher community. So if you're watching from that group already, turn the notifications on for the group so that you make sure you get notified when I post live that we're going to be doing that. I'll let you know exactly when that's starting real soon, but you can keep your eyes peeled. And if you're not in that group yet, you can find a link in the description of this video for the group. So if that's something of interest to you, we would love to have you there, but that'll give you some ideas, especially this is the perfect time of year to be thinking about that because as we go into summer and fall, some of the places that you could host some of those classes are options now, and you sometimes have to plan ahead 6 to 8 months for some of these types of things. So it's really, really useful for you if you're thinking about it now, if that's something that is of interest to you, because I was able to do that. I had one class one time that I taught at a certain location that I was able to make in 4 hours. So I had a 4-week class, 1 hour a week. And I was able to make enough to cover 2 weeks of my public school income, my public school take-home pay. That's crazy. In 4 hours, I made the same amount that I was making in I don't know, because you're salaried for 40, but it's always more than that. So it was probably 90 hours a week. That's crazy and awesome. And it's doable, especially if you're in a big metro, but even if you're not in a big metro. So if you're like, how in the world do you find and create opportunities like that for yourself? That's what we're going to talk about in that challenge. So join me over there. I'd love to see you there and have the great rest of your day in the life of you. If you want to say hi and tell me a little bit about what a day in the life of you looks like, you're welcome to. But if not, I'll catch you again tomorrow morning and we'll chat some more. Bye for now.